Take a deep breath in. Deep, deep breath into your nose. And exhale through your mouth. And just relax. Hi, you are so welcome. So good to have you here. My name is Eve, Evelien in Dutch. And everything I share is about remembering who you truly are and learning how to live your human life from that place. So whether you've been here before or this is your first time, you are really welcome. Your emotions as your guidance system. Most of the time, we are trying to figure out our lives from down here, from the human perspective, from our minds, being rational, keeping control, making lists about the cons and the pros when we want to make a decision. But the thing is, we cannot oversee the bigger picture from this human perspective. There is, thank goodness, also that bigger you, your divine mind, your divine essence, your higher self. That is on top of the mountain, so to speak, overseeing everything and trying to direct you through the forest in which you cannot see one tree after the next. That's human life, right? That is what it's all about. We in human form have really no clue. And that is also not our job. I once read, we, as humans, are supposed to sit in the back of the bus and just experience the view, our life. Our higher consciousness is behind the steering wheel. Let's not try to take over. Let's just sit back and relax. Your higher consciousness is taking you wherever you need to be. That is what it's all about. As always, we start with a grounding practice, then a talk, and then we move in the experiential part. And the best thing to let your higher consciousness just take you wherever you need to be is to be in the now. Because in the now, you are just observing and living and experiencing your life without your human mind interfering with it. So, before we really dive into this topic, I'd like to invite you to do a grounding practice with me. To really, really be in the now. Just relax. Let your higher consciousness drive the bus. The best entry point is your body. So please, join me if you can. If you're able to, not driving, etc. Please sit up straight with your feet flat on the floor and close your eyes for a moment. Then take a deep breath in. Deep, deep breath. In through your nose. And exhale through your mouth. And just relax. Relax your eyes. Relax your face. Soften your eyes. And again, take a deep breath in. Deep, deep breath. In through your nose. And as you exhale, relax all the muscles, the tiny, tiny muscles in and around your eyes. Let your eyes almost float in their sockets. And notice how all the muscles in your face begin to relax. Your eyebrows drift a little bit apart. Your cheeks loosen. Your jaw releases. And it's as if your whole face becomes more round. The mask can fall off in a way. You can relax. You are safe. And again, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, imagine that on the inner side of your face, while the outside remains the same, the inside begins to smile. It's like the corners of your mouth gently move toward your ears. Just visualize it. Imagine it. And as the corners of your mouth gently touch your ears, listen with your ears. What sounds do you hear around you? And can you hear the silence between the sounds? Can you feel the silence? And again, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, bring this stillness down through your throat into your heart. Ask to open your heart. Ask to emanate love from your heart. And again, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, bring the stillness, the softness, and the love down, even further into your lower belly. And again, take a deep breath in there, right there in your lower belly. And exhale. And as you keep breathing there, you really tell your body and your nervous system that it's safe to relax. And from this place where you are right now, I would like to ask you, do you have a question you would like to be answered? Are you struggling with something, or are you just curious about something? What would you want to know? And let it be a question that can be answered by yes or no. And let it bubble up from your subconscious. What is the question you would like to ask your own higher self? Please bring it along in this session, and we will work with it in the experiential part. We've been exploring healing and clearing. We've been talking about how you create your reality, how this reality actually works, how you create, decode your human experience through your mind, through the way you perceive your reality, and how you can direct energy through your askings and intendings, through your own creative process. And what's important to understand is this, that your creative process can be interfered with by your own blocks. Because in the end, it's all one system. Your ability to create your reality is directly influenced by what is still unresolved within you, by what is still blocking you. Because this is how your creation process gets blocked. You can ask for something, you can set your intention, you can go through the entire process. But if you don't believe it is possible, you will never ever perceive it. Because your brain filters reality. Out of the 11 million of possibilities per second, your brain selects only the 40 that match your internal system. So if something is not in your belief system, it simply doesn't show up in your reality. It is there, but you simply cannot see it. You are not decoding it. And the other way around is exactly the same. The moment you want to buy a red car, you see red cars everywhere. The moment you are pregnant, you see pregnant women everywhere. The moment you have your new coat, you see that color everywhere. It's like you have adjusted your brain through your attention and belief towards these frequencies of red cars, pregnant women, new coats. And now your brain filters those frequencies out of all possibilities. But when you don't believe it, you cannot and will not perceive it. You are blocking that possible reality yourself. You are blocking. You have blocks, and we all do. Not consciously, of course. Who wants those consciously? No, they're all stored, mostly in our subconscious. And where do they come from? Well, they come from your early experiences, from your childhood trauma, from your transgenerational trauma patterns in your family line, from your own past lives. All of that. But let's keep it at this life. In this life as a child, you had many, many moments where what you experienced was too much to handle. Know this, that as a child, you fully depend on your environment to survive. So when something feels overwhelming, you don't process it fully. You adapt, you shrink, you shut down. And your system does that automatically to protect you from overwhelm, from shutting down completely, from not being able to survive. In that moment, your system freezes the energy that is too much to process in that moment into your nervous system, into your cells. It is all done subconsciously by your biological computer, your body, to protect you. It is for you. In that moment in time, you try to make sense out of it. So you create meaning by forming belief systems within your mind. The thing is, it simply cannot be true that your parents are unsafe, That's far too much to handle when you are depending on them for your own survival. So your mind goes, it must be me. I am not good enough. I am not loved. I am not worthy. It is not safe. I am not seen. There is nobody for me here. And it's my fault. I am not good enough. Do you recognize anything of this? The thing is, those are not just thoughts. Everything is energy and frequency, so also these thoughts. They are also pure energy and frequency. And they are not just floating around. No, they get stored in your body, in your energy field, in your cells, in your subconscious. That's one part of our early childhood story. And the other thing is that we have never learned how to process emotions in the correct way. We were actually taught to reject them. Don't cry. Don't be angry. Boys don't cry. Do you recognize anything of that? And instead of the emotion, energy in motion, to let it flow through, to express it, to release it, knowing that it's only giving you a signal and then it passes on, it all got stuck inside your body, your cells, your subconscious, and it starts to form blocks inside you. One emotion on top of the other, and they form strings and bubbles within your system. They are all energies and frequencies, creating a kind of a traffic jam and chaos in your system instead of clarity. I had an experience with my youngest son a few years ago. We told them, the boys, that we were going to get a divorce. And there was so much sadness in him, so much sadness and anger. And I by then, fortunately, knew about these things. And I also knew that I had to hold space for him to process. So we were driving in the car at one day. He was sitting next to me. And suddenly, massive sadness came up. Oh boy, and how everything within me wanted to comfort him. But he was just pulling away, turning his head around, not want to be in touch with me. And I knew I had to be with my own uncomfortable feeling within me. My guilt, my shame, my own sadness, my own despair, my own worries, the whole bunch of them. So we just drove. He was crying, and I was crying inside, holding my own space. And when I was there with those emotions, with those energies within my body, first feeling very uncomfortable, they started to dissolve and transmute and transform into other energies. And the moment I felt the shift within me, my son sat up straight, looked at me very, very clear, dried his face and said, "Okay, Mom. I think it's over. Oh, that feels good. Feels really good, Mom. Thanks." And that was it. It was just gone. It was so beautiful and so empowering. Because now he knew, and I knew, that we could process energies in this way. But I had to stay with my own bubbles and my own discomfort in order for this to arise, right? And that's the difficult part, because those emotions are really pointing me towards my own blocks, towards my own belief systems that aren't correct. And by staying with it, they were able to dissolve. And that was the real relief. So our emotions now are pointing us back to the belief systems and the blocks we created when we were little. But now just imagine what it would be like if you would not have these blocks at all. Imagine. You are just pure, clean, clear. You are a pure vessel through which energy flows. How is it supposed to work then? Well, indeed, energy moves through. This energy is information. The information already starts at the center of the universe, at a way bigger level. The level of where you really came from your source, and the level of who you really are, your higher consciousness. Source is the entire universe, an all-knowing, all-encompassing entire creation. From this entire creation and all the information that is stored there, the information flows to the deeper layers within creation. The information flows from a universal level to a galactic level, to a planetary level, and from there to us in this human form. But you can imagine that we in our human form, with our little tiny brains, cannot perceive the information from source directly. It would be way too much, too high frequency, too much information, and we would explode, I guess. So, in order to not have that happen, every layer, every step has to break down the information to an understandable level. It's getting a little bit more, well, I would say distorted, but it's not actually that. It's more, well, broken down into more understandable pieces, into a lower frequency. Yeah, because indeed the mass of consciousness and thus the mass of information to be processed at source is a little bit different from what we can process here on the earth. So information breaks down, up until it arrives to the human level and it gets processed by our nervous system and the endocrine system. The nervous system gives the electrical signals and the endocrine system provides the hormones which allow you to actually feel the emotions. Your higher consciousness communicates with you through your emotions. Therefore, your emotions are your guidance system. You receive the information you need to be guided through this life through your emotions. And would you be perfectly clear? Would we be perfectly clear? We're all on the same thing here, right? Would we be perfectly clean without blocks? The information would just be one straight flow, one straight line, one open line of communication. Never doubt, never hesitation, never misinterpretation. Just knowing, moving, knowing and moving, being in the now, receiving the information, knowing what to do, knowing what not to do, and just enjoy and experience life. You would never have to think about anything or make lists with pros and cons or be in your mind figuring out what your next step would be. you would just follow the feeling. Feeling good is a yes, and not feeling good is a no. Can you imagine how easy and how wonderful that would be? It would be so simple. And it is, actually. Okay, we get our emotions in an entire spectrum. Yet, I already told you, there are essentially two tastes. We can simplify emotions into two fundamental categories: the feeling of expansion and the feeling of contraction. Emotions themselves are neutral. They are not good or bad. They are simply directional. They guide you toward action. They guide you in your choices. They are the mechanism through which you create your reality. Without emotions, there would be no direction. Without emotions, there would be no decision making, right? So, it's simply this. This feels good. Okay, I go there. This feels off. That's quite right. Not going there. And you simply move. No overthinking, no attachment, no fear. Just flow. And it would be like that you in your human form are the small magnet, being guided and directed and led by the big magnet, which is your higher self. It's also you. And all you have to do is follow the direction of that big magnet of your higher self by following what feels good. Go for the option that feels the best in every moment. You have several options. And stay in that feeling good option for as long as you can. Really, really, in essence, all you have to do is ask yourself in any moment, what feels the best to me now? And then you go along with that. Is it sleeping? Sleep. Is it walking? Walk. Is it riding? Ride. Whatever feels good for you. Allow your guidance to lead you. But, sorry, we are not in this ideal situation, unfortunately. We are on a planet where there is quite a lot blocking us from this flow. Quite a lot blocking us within ourselves. We have these frequencies stored as blocks within our energetic body. And that brings up the confusion. Because what feels good for a block is maybe not aligned, or the other way around. It got all so messed up here on this planet. So simply saying, I just follow what feels good in every moment, when you have all those blocks, might not be the best thing, because who is talking? Is it your higher self? Or are your blocks and your old stories talking to you? That's a good thing to ask. In order to have clarity, clearing is necessary. Without clearing, there is no clear guidance. Old emotions and old belief systems block new information. That is why continuous and conscious clearing is necessary, on an emotional level, on a mental level, and on an energetic level. The purpose of clearing is to empty your system so that new signals can come through clearly. We are most of the times not so aware of this, and therefore our higher consciousness is constantly recreating situations for us to become aware and to release. For example, therefore we tend to attract the same relationships in our adult life that are very, very similar to the ones we experienced as children when the energy got stuck. Logical. These energies are still in us, so we send those out and there we attract them from the field of possibilities. Our system does not know anything else, so we keep decoding that same option from the field onto our own computer screen, onto our own reality. And your higher consciousness is using them to see through them and resolve the issues. Life is mirroring back where you have your blocks. And those blocks, those frequencies want to move. They want to be released. Your higher consciousness is constantly guiding you back to them. So that is what these triggers are all about. They are here to show you what is still unresolved, so you can resolve them. And your guidance, your emotional system, can become very, very clear. And one last thing. We think, from our human perspective, I want love, I want safety, I want abundance, what have you. But actually, to me it feels that life is not here to give you that. Life is here to show you where you block that within yourself. So you can start to remember the real you. And you can start to remember that you already are all of those things. You are love, you are safety, you are abundance. You are infinite love, infinite abundance, infinite safety. And every tiny little dot of energy in your system that is contradictory to that wants to be released. You are here to remember who you truly are and to fully be that energy, that original frequency of your true divine essence. You are here to break through the cycle of confusion and to bring the clarity into the world. To be this alignment between the bigger you and the human you. To show humanity how it is done to be this new human in this full alignment of our just described ideal situation. It is possible. And if we don't start creating it and showing it, who does? Someone has got to start with it, right? So truly, everything in your life is pointing you back inward to resolve what blocks you from this state of being. It's truly never really about that relationship, the house, the job, the children, the income, the holiday. Okay, let's enjoy it, of course, but the real deal is underneath it, always. Let's dive a little bit deeper into the emotional triggers. Okay, it all has to do with emotional charge. Emotions are information, and if something happens and the emotion flows through you in, what have you, 30, 60, 90 at most seconds, that is the natural response. But if the emotion lingers, if it starts to get intense, if it feels disproportionate, then you are not reacting in this now moment. You are at that point reliving the past. Because in your subconscious there is no past. Everything is happening now. For example, someone cuts you off in traffic. You get angry. But the level of anger doesn't match the situation. that anger is way older. It is stored energy. And now it comes up to be seen. So you can be grateful to that person. Oh, that cut you off, right? He did that, she did that, in order to trigger you, to bring this anger up. It wants to be seen. Because you weren't seen when you were younger. Someone was cutting you off then, emotionally. And this situation is recreated to bring it up. To stir up the old emotions and to let them go now. I had my own example last week. My son called me. He was with his father and he had pain. And to be honest, I was not completely neutral in listening to him. Something in his story triggered something in me. He was saying, Dad does not understand me, he is not listening to me, he does not see my pain. Ouch. Ooh. I felt later into it and I knew, oh, this is also my story. My pain on an emotional level was also not seen. And from there I saw how I have been in relationships looking to be seen finally. I wanted to receive what I did not receive then. And of course, that's nobody's job. I can only see this within myself. I can only, for myself, allow the emotion and the information to come up and release it. So thanks to my son and his dad, I was able to get to this layer within me. I created this situation in order to be more free, in order to heal. We can let that happen to us unconsciously, that life is giving us all sorts of these experiences and we stay victim, for example. Or we can go about it in a conscious and deliberate way. Why did I create this? That's the most beautiful question you can ask yourself when something is triggering you. It is all about energy and frequency. Everything is frequency, so the work is in essence, become aware, feel the emotion, allow it to move and release it through your intent. There are many ways, of course, inner child work, body work, feeling work, systemic work, past life awareness, and all of that is so helpful. And we are and will be integrating all of this in this beautiful journey that we're on together. Yet, at the end, it always comes back to this. Feeling what is there. Allowing the information, the energy, the emotion to move again. So now you start to see it isn't random, it is a system. When you clear emotional blocks, your system opens. Your emotions become clearer, your guidance becomes sharper, your mind becomes quieter. You can be more in the now. And from that place, your creative power increases. Because now you are no longer reacting from distortion, you are creating from alignment. I see it as kind of a triangle. Healing creates emotional clarity. Emotional clarity creates precise guidance. And guidance allows you to focus very clearly and directly. Allows you very conscious creation. And that feeds back into healing again. Because when you want to create something, you will discover some blocks within yourself. And then you are spiraling up. Because the clearer you become, the more precise your entire process and your human experience becomes. Things are not happening to you. You're not a victim anymore. You are creating in order to become more clear, more powerful, more aligned, and more remembering who you truly are. So, how does this actually work? Because it's not just a philosophy, there are some concrete mechanics behind it. Let's dive into that. What are the requirements for clear guidance? Well, clarity requires energetic alignment. First of all, your own frequency matters. When you are in fear, in doubt, in confusion, you are operating at a very low frequency, around 100, 150, 200 hertz. At that level, information becomes distorted. It's like static on the line. To receive clear guidance, your system needs to rise to a higher frequency. At least from around 734 Hz to 1000. That is the level where you can connect to your spirit self, your higher self, and where clarity really begins. Because at that place, you are receiving the information from your divine mind, instead of from your distorted human mind. The fastest way to shift into that frequency is through connecting to Source, because Source itself is pure coherence. Second, you are not receiving information from outside, quote unquote. You are merging with this part of yourself, your higher self, your spirit self, your spirit energetic field, which exists as an outer layer of your human energy field, roughly 7 to 12 feet around your physical body. When you consciously merge with that layer, you are no longer operating from the human limited mind. You are accessing a wider field of intelligence. This is where the real guidance comes from. And there is this third element. Your entire system, your energy field, your body, your cells, they contain what we call 0 points. The 0 points are energetic reference points through which information flows and organizes. When your frequency is high enough and you are merged with your own higher self, these points begin to align with the new earth grid, with the informational field around you, and with the pathways all the way into the galaxy and to Source. This alignment through 0 points is what allows information to come through clearly. It has nothing to do with thinking it. It is all about aligning yourself into it. You become the information yourself. Okay, good news. This is all possible, but how do we get there? Okay. Well, it is important to have a simple inner agreement. You decide, you agree with your own higher self how to receive the information. This type of guidance, this clarity, requires this agreement. You decide beforehand how you are going to receive information, and you keep it simple. For example, the best way is, if I feel expansion in my heart, it is a yes. If I feel the contraction in my heart, it is a no. That's it. Your body becomes and is the instrument. Your heart is the instrument. Not your mind. We will bypass the mind because of all the limitations that are stored there. No, it's really about the heart. You know, the heart knows, while your mind keeps thinking about it. That's a completely different frequency. Can you feel it? Thinking or just knowing? Your heart knows. Your heart is the instrument. Your body is the instrument. The most important part in this is this. You must agree to trust whatever you receive. Because the moment you receive something and immediately start questioning it, your mind overrides your system and the signal gets lost. So, the first agreement is between you and you. What comes in, it is truth. Whatever I see, feel, sense, it is truth. Everything I receive as true. And I will reflect on it later, but in the moment, as I receive it, I trust. That's my first agreement. And second, a yes is expansion in my heart, and a no is contraction in my heart. This is my agreement, as of now, as of today. So if you choose that, we will install this in your system, in your mechanism, in the meditation we will do later on. So, let's recap. How do you actually receive guidance? Through your emotional guidance system. Real guidance does not come through thinking, it comes through feeling. The process is simple. You connect the source, you quiet your mind, you set your intent, you ask a very clear question, and then you feel into your heart. Yes or no? You feel. At first you might expect images, words, symbols, but those are secondary. The primary language of your higher self to your human self is feeling. Feeling comes first. And the moment you start to master that, then you'll see that the information lines will open up even more, and you will get other forms of information as well. But again, interpretation comes later. Everything you receive is exactly what you need in every moment in time. Just trust that agreement. Because the main pitfall, it's our own mind. Yeah, we're so trained and used to interpret everything through our mind. Our mind will try to analyze, dismiss, be happy, compare, doubt it. Yeah, and in doing so, our mind distorts the signal. You might see something, but without the feeling, you won't understand it correctly. The heart gives you direct truth and context. So the training is always the same, from the head back into the body to the heart. And it takes a little bit of a practice and refinement, because in the beginning this can feel very, very subtle. You might barely feel anything. You might doubt what you feel. That's all normal, because your system is not used to listening this way yet. But with practice, it becomes faster, clearer, more immediate. Your body will start to recognize the signals. And one important thing, if a feeling lingers or becomes heavy, it often means that you are mentally holding on to it. Guidance is so simple. Yes or no in this moment, and move on. And in this moment is an important thing, because guidance is not fixed, because reality is not fixed. You may receive different answers at different moments in time. Know that you're not doing anything wrong. Today it might be a no and tomorrow a yes. And it means simply that multiple possibilities exist at the same time. You are reading the field in this moment. And as you change, the field changes. Your guidance gives different answers. Trust. Trust that your higher consciousness always sees the bigger picture and gives you exactly what to do in the now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next year. And of course, you can also tune into that question. Will my job be aligned in 6 months? But so much can happen, right? So ask your guidance in the now. That would be my advice. Yeah, the bigger picture. When we zoom out, we begin to see that your emotions are not random. They are indeed your interface with the universe, with your higher self. They are the way cosmic information reaches you. They are the way your higher self communicates with you. And the more clearer you become, the less blocks you have, the clearer your guidance system becomes. So, clarity comes from 3 things. First, clearing your system, reprogramming, releasing the blocks. Second, raising your frequency, goes along with the clearing. And third, trusting whatever you receive. And from there, you begin to live from inner alignment. And that's such a beautiful way to live your life. What does this ask from you? Simplicity. A simple agreement, a simple process, but also consistency. When you are able to clear your system daily, practice your feeling, and asking simple questions, staying with your agreement, training your trust, you will receive beautiful answers. And you will expand more and more. You will be guided in every moment in time. Yes, your trust will grow and you will fully receive whatever you need in every now moment. Life becomes such a wonderful journey from this place. Let's move into the meditation in which we will install the foundation for our guidance system. We will install the base for feeling through the heart. In the meditation, we will create an agreement with our own higher self. You will create an agreement with your higher self on how you receive guidance. We will raise our frequency, merge with our own higher consciousness, and receive information through the heart. A few months ago, I received a question from someone. What do you think, Eve? Is it wise for us to move to another country, considering everything what is happening here in the US? Should I move to Europe? How are things in Europe? I felt into it and I realized I never can answer that question. My Europe might be completely different from yours. And more important, your own guidance is the only one that gets to answer these questions. And maybe this session, maybe this meditation is actually my answer, because it's pointing you back to your own higher self, and only your own higher self knows what is right for you. When you move from that alignment, that deep connection to your true self, and when you allow your higher self to lead you, you know you are always exactly where you are meant to be. But when the blocks inside of you are leading you, and you are making choices out of fear instead of trust, it doesn't really matter wherever you go on this planet. You will keep meeting the same reality over and over and over again, just in a different form, a different language maybe, a different setting. It doesn't matter, because reality is always reflecting back your inner state to you. So only one thing is important: clear the blocks. Use every trigger that is brought to you in your so-called outside reality to release what is still stuck. When you release the fear of being in the US because of everything that is happening, release the fear in you. And from there, you will naturally move from alignment, no matter what. Maybe it's perfectly okay to stay there. Maybe it's perfectly okay to move. But it doesn't really matter anymore, because you are neutral. You have released the blocks that were the trigger anyway. So it's such a beautiful process. But these blocks get in the way of our own guidance. Because maybe you can feel into this. When you start asking for guidance, you will often meet your first block immediately. The unwanted answer. For example, when you want to ask, should I move? Okay, first make it simple, yes or no. Should I move to Europe now? Yes or no? Then something starts to come up, right? Here is where you already may encounter resistance, because sometimes you don't actually want the answer. You ask, should I move? And underneath you feel, I hope the answer is no. Because if it's a yes, I really don't want it. That's a block. This comes from fear. So first clear the fear, clear the beliefs, and only then, at the point where you are completely neutral, ask the question again. Otherwise, your mind will take over and distort the answer. And know this, the more you practice this, the clearer you become, the easier this gets. So, take a question with you into this meditation, or simply ask your heart to show you what a yes feels like and what a no feels like. And trust, whatever the answer is, wanted or unwanted, yes or no, no matter what, you will be guided and supported in every moment. Even if the answer is the, for you, for your human mind now, unwanted answer, trust that you're simply not there then yet, you know? When you are at your point in your life where you have to make a huge change that brings up fear, the fear will be released first. When it's really necessary, you are guided, you are supported, you are held in every step of your life. So trust it, that no fear is ever really necessary. And every fear you still feel, it's pointing you towards a block that wants to be released. And that's the real gift you give to yourself and to the collective. Let's go into this meditation. Take a deep breath in. Deep, deep breath in through your nose. And exhale through your mouth. And just relax. Relax the tension in your neck, your shoulders, your arms and your hands. Let go of all the tension. Ask to feel very relaxed, yet alert. And again, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, quiet your mind, quiet your thoughts, and just relax. And again, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, soften your eyes, soften your gaze, and quiet your mind some more. Shh. This moment is for you. Just relax. And one last time, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, focus on your heart center and say, I ask and intend to create a sacred space. I ask and intend to keep away all distracting thoughts, distracting energies, distracting mind chatter that are not aligned with my intent and my highest good. I ask and intend that my spirit family from Source be present with me now and support me in this process. I ask and intend to align my energy perfectly with the energy of Source and the energy of my own higher consciousness, and to bring this energy through my entire physical being now. Take a deep breath in. And as I exhale, again I speak from my heart as I say, I ask and intend to truly experience my guidance system. I ask to receive information with clarity and precision through the feelings in my heart. And I ask that these feelings are clear and specific. And I ask to now install this agreement between me, the human me, and my true divine essence, my higher self. And this agreement goes as follows. I now ask and intend and choose to acknowledge and accept that all the information that comes through my heart is the truth. I ask to only receive the truth in every moment. And I now ask and intend to feel the expansion in my heart, a sense of openness, safety, or ease when it is a yes. And I ask to feel contraction, discomfort, or tension in my heart when it is a no. I ask and intend to make these feelings very clear to me, so there is no doubt about the answer. And so it is. Take a deep breath in, and as I exhale, I now visualize above me a ball of light. Deep, deep purple light with a hint of soft purple. And I bring slowly, slowly this light through the top of my head. I let it fill every cell in my skull, in my brain, in my face, in my neck. This is the energy of Source. This energy is opening me up, opening every cell up to the higher frequencies and to my ability to receive information and guidance with clarity and precision. Take a deep breath in. And as I exhale, I bring this light further down through my throat, my shoulders, my arms, my hands. I let this purple light fill every cell in my chest, in my heart center, in my heart. I let it fill my back, my belly, my hips, my thighs, my knees, my calves, my ankles and my feet. And I let this energy come out through the bottom of my feet, anchoring me down all the way into the earth. Take a deep breath in. And as I exhale, I now visualize, imagine, or simply intend another ball of light below my feet. This ball of light is orange and green. And I bring this light up through my feet, letting this light fill every cell in my feet, in my ankles, in my calves, my knees, all the way through my thighs to my hips, into my belly, into my chest, filling my entire back. This light is filling my arms, my shoulders, my neck, my throat, and my entire head. And I let this orange and green light come out through the top of my head, connecting me all the way back to source. I am connected. And so it is. Take a deep breath in. And as I exhale, I bring my focus to my heart center. And I take a moment to notice how my heart feels. And from my heart, I say quietly, I ask and intend to release all of my worries and concerns, my fear that I may not receive guidance clearly, that I will not be able to understand it clearly. I ask to release my fear that I cannot trust my heart. I ask to release this fear and this doubt from every cell in my body, from my conscious, subconscious, and cellular memory. Take a deep breath in and exhale. And I visualize particles of energy leaving my body, leaving my energy field. And from my heart, I say, I ask and intend to release my anger towards myself for having been misled in so many situations. Or at least I feel that I have been misled in so many situations in my life. I ask and intend to release my anger, my disappointment, my sadness, and my fear that it will happen again. I ask and intend to release this energy and frequency once and for all from every cell, of my body, of my conscious, subconscious, and cellular memory. And I ask and intend to replace it with trust, with ease, and with openness. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Letting go, letting go. And I feel the energy of trust surrounding me, filling me. And now, I put myself in a ball of light. And from my heart, I expand out 360 degrees all around me. And I say, I now ask and intend to raise my vibration to 1,000 hertz. And I ask to merge powerfully with my own spirit self, with the outer layer of my energy field, around 7 to 12 feet all around me. I just intend it and acknowledge that it is done. And I now feel. How do I feel right now? And what is different compared to the beginning of this meditation? And now, I bring my focus back to my heart. And I now ask and intend for my heart to respond. If it feels open, expansive, and good, it is a yes. If it feels contracted, tight, uncomfortable, it's a no. And if nothing changes, the answer simply doesn't matter. The answer to the question is simply not relevant to me right now. I trust this, and I now ask to experience this new agreement very clearly. Take a deep breath in. And as I exhale, I focus on my heart. And I now ask my heart to give me the feeling of a yes. Take a deep breath in. And as I exhale, I now ask my heart to give me a very clear sense of the feeling of a no. This is my baseline. This is the imprint of my guidance system as of now. And I now ask my cells to remember. And so now, as a fun exercise, I take a deep breath in. And as I exhale, I ask my question. For example, is the work I'm currently doing aligned for me right now? Then I stay in my heart and I feel. So I now ask my own question. And I feel in my heart. I allow my heart to respond. I trust what I feel. I trust that whatever I feel is exactly right. And if any fear comes up, I clear that. So I say quietly from my heart, I ask and intend to release my fear of receiving an unwanted answer. I ask and intend to bring up and release all the blocks that prevent me from receiving clearly and neutrally. I ask to release my fear that I'm doing this wrong, that I'm failing, and that I'm not in the right place right now in my life, and that I therefore don't really want to know the answer. I ask to release this belief from every cell in my body, from my conscious, subconscious, and cellular memory, once and for all. Take a deep breath in, and as I exhale, I let it go. And I focus on my heart, and I simply feel. I simply feel what comes up next and release that until I feel completely neutral. And then I ask the question again. And I let it be. Whatever the answer is, I just allow. Take a deep breath in. And as I exhale, I focus on the deep purple light again. The deep purple light from source, which opened my cells. This source energy, this pure source energy, is still within me and all around me. This is the energy of unconditional love. Pure unconditional love from my Creator for me. From my higher consciousness for me. Letting me know that I am exactly where I am supposed to be. All is well. all is truly well. I am love. I feel the love all around me as a blanket and within me. And from my heart, I now say, I know I am loved. I know I am on the right path. I am doing the best I can, and I will be moved forward. And my guidance is right here with me, moving me forward in every moment in time. And so it is. Take a deep breath in and exhale. And slowly, slowly, whenever you're ready, open your eyes.